To all of the ministry and business leaders out there, I have a question for you. How do you know if you're battle ready for the next work week? In this short video, I'm going to share the Pioneer perspective for week 33, and it's going to help you in 3 ways to show up ready for the battle. I want to welcome everybody in. It's Monday, August 12th, 2024, and it is a joy to come alongside leaders that are committed to make uncharted progress in every direction of their life. And it's very difficult to do because we are always juggling our priorities. And so leaders have to face off the disappointments and the demands of their work all the time. And at the same time, they want to make real goals. They want to make deep relationships. They want to make strategic moves. And you put that all together, and now we realize that life is not 2D, it is multifaceted. And so you can be crushing it in your work and be feeling crushed by all of the pressures that are going on at home. You can be a rock star in your personal health and fit as a fiddle, but you can also be really struggling with your values, your sense of direction, your sense of motivation and encouragement. So how do you get that full picture? Well, we're figuring that out day by day and week by week in this community. It's called the Uncharted Way community. I want to give you a call to action. Check out a free training that I created for ministry and business leaders. It's called Learn to Challenge Yourself by Choice. I think that's a good tagline for leadership in general, right? Why leaders are choosing the uncharted way. And it's going to give you both a high value training that you can run with immediately, and it's also going to give you the context that you need to make a well-informed decision on whether you need to join this community or not. And I hope to see you inside, but it's not for everyone. And so that's going to be up to you to make that next move. But for right now, let me share with you a few things that I am enjoying. These are books that have meant a lot to me in this year. And I got quite a few back here, but these are just a few that I wanted to highlight. The first one is just a classic. It's called Leadership by John Maxwell. I think leaders need to learn how to shift right now more than ever. I've been working with a executive coaching client that's basically going through an amazing organizational shift, but it really starts with the leadership. And so I actually created a framework for founding leaders of organizations and helping them figure out what the next phase of their organization looks like so that they can enjoy that next phase and not be burdened by it. So this would be a great lead. Next one is a great book, Expert Ownership by the Benham brothers, David and Jason. They've been so encouraging for me just to see some great examples of believers that are also entrepreneurs. Really cool. I work with ministry and business leaders. Some are ministry leaders, some are business leaders, and there's a growing handful that are actually doing both. And that just means that they are raising their own support so that they can do more ministry in relational and creative ways. It's actually an emerging theme that I think a lot of people are getting interested in. Check out this last book by one of my great friends, Jack Mooring, Portrait of God. This is a phenomenal read. It just came out, I think, last week. I got my pre-ordered copy and it came in on launch day. I'm super excited to get through all of this and share more about it with y'all later. But go pick up your copy from Jack Mooring and you'll enjoy it a lot. All right, so we're going to finish with the Pioneer perspective for week 33. One of the things I like to do is start my week with a sense of spiritual direction to get real clarity internally, personally, before I blast out into the rest of the work week. And so today's Pioneer perspective is take your hope with you into the battle. And it comes from a true story in the Bible, First Samuel chapter 14, verse 6. We see Jonathan talking to one of the men with him, and he says, hey, maybe God is going to do something amazing today. Let's go find out. And I think there's a massive example that is still very relevant to us today. The first three things that I want us to hear is don't rush to conclusions, don't freeze under pressure, and don't force things to happen. These are the three examples that I see in this story from Jonathan. And a lot of us are right now in a battlefield of one or the other, one kind or another. Um, and I personally think that we are being called as ministry and business leaders to actually run to the front line and not run away from the front line where the future is happening. You say, why would I go to the front lines where it is difficult, demanding, and uncertain? Oh, yeah, and dangerous. And the answer is simple. One, because the Lord may be calling you to go. And two, because, believe it or not, that is where the future is happening. And so I believe that there are leaders that are pioneering a hopeful future for others. That means it doesn't exist yet, but it will, because there are some willing, hardworking people that have a good heart and they want to make the future of their field, the future of their organization, the future of their ministry work or their business work better. And it doesn't happen without these kind of people getting involved, right? We have to be salt and light. We have to stay encouraged so that we stay engaged. And that's what Jonathan did. He actually took his hope, which is not that we are going to win, and it's not that I know how this is going to happen, but he actually had a low level of certainty, and yet he still had a high level of encouragement. He was able to encourage someone else to go with him. He was able to really throw himself into a very difficult situation so that the Lord would get the glory. Just to kind of zoom out and say, okay, if you're a ministry or business leader, how do you do that practically this week? And why would it be a timely encouragement for this week? And honestly, as we look towards the end of the year, there's a lot of uncertainty, but uncertainty and compound difficulty is not a reason to shy away from the front lines where we need to be showing up and shining as leaders. And right now, teams, organizations, communities, families, small businesses, even platforms online, they're all desperately looking for reliable leadership. And so leadership is under the microscope in some ways, under the hot seat, spotlight in some ways, but there are real reliable leaders that need to be willing to step in their different fields of influence. So let's finish with the three things. Don't rush to conclusions. Jonathan didn't say that the battle was a lost cause from the beginning. He was actually open-minded. He was actually open to the idea that things could go really well. And you might be facing a really difficult situation. You feel like the rug gets pulled from under you. You feel like you get all the air punched out of you. And at that moment, you're going to have to make a choice. I'm not going to rush to conclusions. There still can be a hopeful outcome in this moment. The second thing he did is he did not freeze under pressure. He took the initiative. And that's a wild attribute for pioneering leaders. Are you willing to take initiative in some way? I mean, really not just be passive or active, but be proactive. You can do that with a hopeful outlook. And then the last one is he did not force things to happen. He actually had a pretty good response. He said, "This may go really good or this could go really bad, but we're going to see maybe the Lord will do something amazing." And I think that's actually a healthy place to be when you kind of leave the results in God's hands and you put the action in your hands. Like you're willing to take responsibility for the moment, for the way you show up, for the way you take the lead. But at the end of the day, you're trusting that the Lord is going to be your reward and that the Lord is going to give you the results that are needed. Okay, so I'm encouraging ministry and business leaders, do not shy away from the front line right now, but show up and shine. And you can do that when you know how to challenge yourself by choice. A lot of people say, why would I want to challenge myself? Because that's how you grow. And more importantly, that's how you lead well. You lead with confidence, you lead with reassurance. People are looking for these kind of leaders, and we all want to be a strength and not a burden in our different contexts, but you have to do work, real work, because you can't just fake that kind of strength. You have to put in the work day in and day out. And that's where preparation comes in. And that's why leaders need to choose the uncharted way. I've shared a full training to walk you through this step by step. I know you have a full week already, but this is a worthy investment. Click the link while it's available because it will not look this way forever. And I want you to find out more about the Uncharted Way community. That's my community for ministry and business leaders. I appreciate y'all. Thanks so much for being on, and we'll see you in the next video.